Welcome back to AEW Change the World. This is episode number 13 of Tuesday Night Dynamite, the go-home show to that huge Madison Square Garden event this Saturday. So let's get into it. The episode begins with footage from an incident following last week's show. Matt Jackson had been defeated by Cody, and when cameras were catching up with them to ask them about the match, they caught an altercation between the Young Bucks and Pac, Nick and Matt taking issue with how Pac had spoken to Dustin Rhodes and of AEW early in the night. When Pac fired back, the two sides got very, very heated, which resulted in the two sides having to be pulled apart. Obviously, with Matt's disappointment at losing in the main event and Pac's general bad attitude, this blow-up is long overdue. The commentators then introduce the show, talking about that, but also putting over that on Saturday, AEW will have a huge show in Madison Square Garden, the biggest night in the company's history. Before then, we have tonight's show to look forward to. The first match of the night sees champion Britt Baker and one of the challengers, Tessa Blanchard, face the other challenger, Tenille Dashwood, with her friend Danielle Monet in a terrible match. Baker and Blanchard pick up the victory, Baker pinning Monet with a Rainmaker. Danielle Monet, the weak link there, a 41D rating, not very good, and it has lost heat to the segment. Following the match, Tessa Blanchard joins the champion Britt Baker in the ring. The two go face to face. As they do that, Tenille Dashwood is seen outside the ring, looking bitter and angry, watching the two of them. Those three will all face off this Saturday. We then get an interview from Pac. As he walked into the building tonight, AEW cameras asked for a word with him. He called AEW a propaganda machine for the Elite, saying he had nothing to say to them about what happened because they'd twist his words. Don Callis and Excalibur then look back at the end of last week's show, introducing footage of Cody's victory over Matt Jackson. Kenny Omega will defend the AEW Men's World Championship against Cody this Saturday at Madison Square Garden. Following out of that, they talk about footage from Chris Jericho's social media earlier in the day, the AWOL competitor speaking to his followers while in an airport. The commentators say that while AEW has had no contact from Chris Jericho and there's been no confirmation that he intends to be at this show, there have been reports that he's been seen in the local area earlier today. Bea Priestley and Nyla Rose then beat two local talents, Delmia Exo and Laura James, in 6 minutes and 57, a fairly one-sided match, a very, very bad match actually. After the match, Bea Priestley and Nyla Rose are standing tall in the ring. Brandy Rose comes out. With a smile on her face, she praises the two competitors who've picked up another impressive victory. As a result, they will compete in the AEW Women's Tag Team Championship match at MSG. Brandy then introduces their opponents for that night, Ivelisse Velez and, who should be on screen, Mercedes Martinez. They come out to the top of the ramp, the two teams facing off before their match this Saturday. We then get an interview with the Young Bucks, more cooperative than Pac. They talk about that incident. They don't know what his issue is, but like Chris Jericho, Pac seems to have a chip on his shoulder. Whatever the problem is, they intend to find out tonight. Dustin Rhodes is then speaking from his office directly to camera, giving information on the Junior Heavyweight Championship match that will take place this Saturday. He states that the match will begin as a 20-man battle royal until 4 men remain. From there, the match will be one fall to a finish, a 4-way match. The person to gain the first pinfall or submission will be the first AEW Junior Heavyweight Champion. This leads into the third match of the night, the Best Friends defeating Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky, a D47, not very good, a high spots match, badly placed. Nonetheless, the Best Friends picking up the victory. All 4 men will be in the Battle Royal this Saturday. Following the match, they stand tall before turning to each other. Both of them have intentions to be the champion. That ends the first hour of the show. After the commentators recap the first hour of the show, the Young Bucks come out to open the second hour. Nick and Matt call out Pac. They want to know what his issue is. Since day one, he has been against the Elite. Pac ignores them and they try to lure him out, suggesting that since neither of them are yet in action at MSG, maybe offering him the chance to face them will intrigue him. Pac eventually does come out to the ring, slowly walking down the ramp, telling the Young Bucks that it doesn't matter which of them he faces because he knows that the other one will have his brother's back. That's the issue, and that's always been the issue. The Elite outnumber everybody in AEW, so they're not going to fail. AEW was set up for the Elite to succeed, and he's sick of it. But for MSG, he's made sure somebody's got his back. As he says that, the Young Bucks are jumped from behind by somebody who has hopped the guardrail. It quickly becomes clear that it is Chris Jericho. Pac and Chris Jericho then engage in a brutal physical attack of the Young Bucks, leaving them bloodied in the ring, the first time that we've intentionally put blood on the show. Security and EMTs come down, They're trying to break it up, but the attack is so violent, the commentators putting over just how disgusted they are. Eventually, the rest of the Elite come out to check on them, Cody hanging back a little bit, but the point is that the Young Bucks have to be carried out in a disgusting, brutal attack, a 69C+, so a good segment for the show, but more importantly, setting up a huge match for the Madison Square Garden event. Returning from the break, the commentators talk in somber tones. They're discussing the disgusting attack. They won't even show it. That's how brutal it was. Excalibur says that he has never seen anything like that in AEW before. Don then speaks of a further incident that happened during the break, sending to that footage. As the AEW cameras followed Pac and Chris Jericho, who were being escorted from the building, Jericho was confronted by Sonny Kiss, who was backed up by Joey Ryan, two people who he has pretty much bullied for the last few weeks. Due to the fact he's being restrained by security, Chris Jericho can't get his hands on Kiss, maybe for the best. He spits in the face of Sonny Kiss. Kiss is furious, but has to be held back by Joey Ryan, who reminds him that they have a match later in the night. He can't go doing anything stupid. The fourth match of the night, Madison Eagles defeating Zayda Zhang in 4 minutes and 12 with a Heaven Sent, a 65, another great performance from her, 46 from Zayda Zhang, a 52 D+ rating. After the match, Alex Marvez joins Madison Eagles in the ring. He's interviewing her. She will face Hikaru Shida at MSG. Eagles puts over the fact that this new competitor is going to debut to much fanfare at such a huge stage, just like plenty before her have. Eagle says that she didn't get the huge debut, but she has proved herself week after week on Tuesday Night Dynamite. She is the most dominant person in the AEW roster. At Madison Square Garden, she's going to show Hikaru Shida that there is a hierarchy in AEW, and she is at the very top of it. We'll then get a little bit of extra promotion for that Junior Heavyweight Championship Battle Royal that will take place this Saturday. A number of members of the AEW roster talk about their desire and their plans to win the match, with two debuting people also having their say. David Starr and Brian Pillman will both be in the match, and they look to make a huge impact on their AEW debuts. Unfortunately, both of them getting disappointing ratings for their gimmicks. I'm not going to let it worry me too much, because going forward, I think they'll still be good enough in the ring to be valuable parts of the junior division. We then get the fifth match of the night, the Lucha Bros in action ahead of their championship defense this Saturday, defeating Joey Ryan and Sonny Kiss in 5 minutes 18, a short match and a convincing victory, 78-77, so that is very encouraging for this Saturday's Tag Team Championship match. Decent ratings for the other two, but really the focus there on the Lucha Bros putting in impressive performances. The Handsome Devils then come out following the victory of the Lucha Bros. They're showing that they're impressed with the AEW Men's World Tag Team Champions. Pentagon and Phoenix remain stoic, but leave the ring because the Handsome Devils are in action up next. We then get that match, T-Hawk and Takehiro Yamamura facing the Handsome Devils. A decent wrestling match, but it didn't have much heat. In 11 minutes 48, Hangman Page pinning Takehiro Yamamura. Marty Scurll carrying the match there, Yamamura the weak link, a 35 rating. That's not very good. A 50 for T-Hawk is decent. A C61 isn't bad, but you'd want better for the main event. Again, Hangman Page hanging around those 48s really isn't good enough, but Marty Scurll should be able to bring him up a little bit, I hope. After the match, they stand tall. They've had much greater trouble than the Lucha Bros did. The Lucha Bros were in a one-sided dominant match, while they really had to fight and dig deep to win that. Both exhausted, Don Callis and Excalibur put over the huge task that they face this Saturday at Madison Square Garden when they challenge for the AEW Men's World Tag Team Champions. Coming back from the final break of the show, the stage is set up for a press conference. The champion and challenger will go face to face ahead of their match this Saturday. Kenny comes out, placing his title on the table. He puts over the magnitude of the event and talks about Cody, saying that all issues aside, he is proud that the main event will feature 2 members of the founding group of the company, as well as 2 members of the Elite. Alex then brings out Cody, but when he is joined by Shawn Spears and MJF, Kenny isn't happy. He comments about the 2 being there, but Cody tells them it isn't about them, it's about Cody and Kenny. Cody shows respect to the champion, putting over the biggest night of his career at Madison Square Garden. The 2 continue to hype up and promote the match. It is important to both of them. Ending the show, Kenny makes one request to Cody. Those 2 being far away from ringside as possible this Saturday. MJF and Spears protest, but Cody gives this word. Holding out a hand, which Kenny accepts, Cody says that the best man shall win this Saturday. Champion and challenger then shake hands, going face to face ahead of that huge Madison Square Garden show. So there it is, the Go Home Show, episode number 13 of Tuesday Night Dynamite in the bag, a 70C+ rating, a decent middling episode I'd say, increased our popularity in 30 regions. All the build to that Madison Square Garden show is done, so we've just got to look forward to that, so hopefully that comes sooner rather than later.